People are fascinated by the inner workings of the mafia. So say John wanted someone killed, how does that go down the line?
If I wanted somebody killed, John?
If John Gotti wants to have somebody killed,
John,
as the boss, how does it go down?
It depends on who it involves. So let's just say it involves somebody that Sammy could get in there, he's going to go to Sammy first with it. You know, when we killed Louis DeBono, I'll give you an example, Sammy really didn't have that much information of what happened with Louis. You know, he didn't know that hit went to Gotti Jr. as a first hit as a captain, and then John brought it to me. And then we had a discussion, me and John, with Bobby Borriello, and from there, you know, he gets hit. So that's one hit. It depends who has the access to a guy, and you try to keep it close knit as much as you can, so it's not in 10 different people's hands. They killed one guy, I forget his name, offhand, Jewish guy. It might have been Weiss. And I don't know how many guys got hit with that murder. I think that was that murder. Like 10 different guys got conspiracy to get murder. To murder. It's the most ridiculous thing because it's not like people think. There's not that many guys out there doing these shootings. You know, everybody thinks everybody in the mob's a killer. It's not even close to accurate.
What's the preferred method to take someone out?
It depends on the guy and the individual too. I mean, if it's me, you're going to hit him first. I'd rather hit him to the body if he's moving because that's going to slow him down. Then you put a couple in his head, but if you have them, like you have some guys, you just shoot them a couple times in the head because you always got to hit him with a headshot. Make sure you finish him. Guys make that mistake and they leave them live. And sometimes those guys that have lived, they're coming back and they're killing those same guys. So, you know, it's when you're going to do your work, you got to do it precisely and you got to do it like a professional, really. And, you know, people say, well, it's cold. Well, it's the truth of what we were doing. So it is cold.
Yeah, I met a guy in prison. I wrote his life story, and he was a Bonanno associate, went out to Alaska and formed his own clique out there. And he said that his preferred method was right in here. So the skull, just shooting them so the skull doesn't circumvent the bullet. So when you say in the head, did you have a preferred part of the head to shoot him in?
Yeah, if you're going to shoot him, you're going to shoot him 2, 3, 4 times. And it doesn't matter where you shoot him in the head. If you're shooting him that many times, he's not getting up.
From close range, that is.
Yeah, I had an idiot guy that was with me once, and he told me, I think he's alive still after, a couple of days later. And I'm like, oh, you can't be this fucking dumb. But there are guys that it is dumb.
Yeah, in Arizona, they had us do the concealed weapons permit classes. It was actually cops who taught us how to kill.
Well, yeah, actually, I went to shoot, and that's who taught me to shoot. I used to go shooting range in Florida.
Yeah.
And there was an ex-cop that taught me how to shoot.
So for home protection, of course, they taught us this. Shoot them in the chest. And the head,
yeah,
and then you got the heart and the brain.
Yeah. It's always a body shot.
So did it ever, other than the one that you described, then were there mess ups during these hits that things just got really out of control? And
guys will talk about whether it's a murder or whether it's a robbery. It's not set up properly, meaning you're getting bad information. So, say John asked me to kill somebody, and I bring it to you because it's somebody you got to give me the intel. So you tell me this guy's at this location and there's only 2 people there. Well, there's 4. You tell me there's no alarms, there's an alarm. You tell me there's no dogs, there's 2 dogs, 3 dogs, 5 dogs. You tell me there's nobody else in there, there's no women or children, there's women or children. And this happens a lot because you're getting guys that are idiots. And, a lot of these guys aren't good at what they do, or they're scared and they don't really want part of it, but they got no choice. So it just depends on who you're bringing with you, and you better know who you're bringing with you.
If it's children, would you abandon it?
If I notice children wearing a killing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't have any bad,
You got to have morals like that, haven't you?
No, I don't. I don't have any bad murders like that. I don't.
Yeah.
When people ask, I don't have anything. I never robbed or killed anybody in an armored car. The guys used to ask me, I say, I ain't doing it. I didn't sign up to kill regular guys, man. I don't care who calls them what names and, oh, he's a cop. I don't give a fuck for that nonsense.
No.
To me, I don't look at nobody like that. I never did. Not then, not now. If he's a gentleman, he's a gentleman. He's a regular person. Yeah. I ain't judging anybody what he does for a living. But if he's a gangster, to me, yeah, he's open.
Okay.
But when I used to do home invasions, drug dealers, I tell all my guys, you fucking kill anybody here, I'll kill you. Because it's not necessary. You can control a room if you're good at what you do. You don't have to kill anybody. You don't even need to shoot anybody. But if you're going to shoot them, you better not kill them. And they knew that from me. I never killed anybody on an armed robbery and nothing. And I don't have any killings like that. I don't have any shootings like that. When I go after somebody, my shootings are for what I want accomplished, whether it's to kill them, whether it's to hurt them, whether it's to, butcher them. So,
Yeah.
So if you go on a job and there's 4 people instead of 2, do you abandon the mission or do you improvise?
it depends. Gotti gave me an armed home invasion of a doctor that was beating his wife in Florida. And the cousin, John DiGiorgio, who was another guy that was an informant on a drug case, and it's Gotti's first cousin on the mother's side. So when he gives us the hit, the robbery, excuse me, he leaves out the part that he's sleeping with the doctor's wife. That's first. Second, he leaves out the part that it's across the street from a police station. Third, he says the guy's got $1 million in cash and doesn't tell me he's a doctor. Doesn't tell him. Fourth, he's supposed to have guns for me. He didn't have any. He's supposed to have a car for me. He doesn't have that. I went with 2 guys from Brooklyn, Court Street. They were around Bobby Borrello's kid, Stevie and Joey, Spanish guys. Nice guys. And when we get off the plane, they say, we ain't doing it. And I said, no, we're doing it. And they said, no, we ain't doing it. I go, Steve, Joe, we're down here, we're doing it. Don't worry, I'll get in. We'll do it. And we end up doing it. They weren't happy about it. And, I tied the guy up. I wrapped him up in a carpet. I cut the carpet off the floor, actually. Brought a straight edge razor. And didn't go in with a gun because the idiot didn't have a gun for me. And he had a dog. He told me there was no dog. He had an alarm at the police station, everything I just said. I still tied the guy up. The guy was begging me. He goes, I'm a doctor. I don't got that kind of money. I knew as soon as he said that this motherfucker, Gotti's cousin, is fucking the wife.
Personal,
and,
isn't it?
And Gotti is too stupid to find out himself the details. And that's not the first time. I did another armed robbery of Colombians, 4 kilos in Queens. His other guy, Vinny First, he left me in the house. One of Gotti's other guys, another guy, Frankie Finelli. I did another armed robbery of a major car ring guy.
Left you being run off?
Ran off. Frankie Finelli, another one of Gotti's guys, ran off. And a guy, Chicky Alito, told Gotti, get rid of this guy. And made guy, nice guy, tough guy, actually. Him and his kid, and Gotti betrayed them. And they stood away from Gotti. But these are some of his guys. These ain't my guys.
Yeah.
My guys never did that to me. But these are weak guys that, they shouldn't even be in this life or pretending to be in this life. And every one of these guys left me.
You never run off, don't leave another man in there, do you? That's just like...
Yeah, they just, the guys, like I said,
There's no point in even turning up if you're going to do that, is there?
Your button's going to get pushed in this life, no matter what. And they're going to see if you're going to hold your mud or not. And if you can hold your cheese. And, these fakers, they ain't making it. I mean, if you're in this life, it's going to happen exactly what happened to me. You're going to get battered. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get stabbed up. You're going to get shot. You're going to do all kinds of time in jail. These guys will tell you I fought left and right in Brazil penitentiaries, knives, everything else. So when guys want to fake it, I've stabbed guys all over the place in the street. That's part of it. And you're going to get it. You're not just going to give it. You're going to get it too. And, it's unfortunately, that's the life. And
it's not a one-way street, is it?
No, it's not one way unless you're going to choose your spots and you're a complete punk. And you're going to go with 10 guys all the time against 1 and 2. But that's not reality. When I got stabbed up, I went in against 5 guys. So I knew I was going to get it. But, I wanted to accomplish what I wanted. I wanted to get one of the guys.
In hindsight, would you have done that again, or would you have done it differently?
When I talk now, it's like I'm talking about a different guy.
So I say in hindsight.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But, when you're younger, you're a little more wild.
Yeah.
You don't think as much. As you get older, you get a little smarter. You handle things a little different. You're a little more patient. And, as I got older, I learned patience. I mean, I waited 9 years to kill one guy. I waited 6 years to get another. I waited about 5 to shoot another guy. So I waited. I learned, and in jail when we were there, I waited to get a guy. I paid a cop to get over 4 cells to stab a guy up.
What had he done?
And him and his friend gave up things we were doing in jail. So one of them was on a street. And so I got to him, and, but you got to be patient. And, it's part of it. And so you learn, again, you got to learn that, what you're given, you might get back. And guys try to hit me on a daily basis. So guys are always trying to kill me.
How many times have you been shot?
Just once.
Just once. What was that
and
story?
It wasn't, it was just a drug deal. And when they pulled on me to rob me, I really didn't think the guy was going to shoot me. And I said, get the fuck, you ain't shooting nobody. And he shot me. So.
Where did he shoot you?
Yeah, he shot me in the hip only. But he could have killed me, but he just didn't have it in him. And, you know, and he took the money and I just shook my head like, this is my own fault for being a jerk off. But I really didn't think.
He
And,
probably only shot you out with fright, though.
huh?
He probably only shot you out with fright.
Yeah, you know, listen, it's part of the life. I mean, listen, I laugh about it now because at the time I was more steaming. I got stabbed, and I was really hurt.
Yeah.
But actually, when I got shot, it went in and out, so it didn't really, it wasn't as bad as you would think. I would think it would be a lot worse, but with the stabbing, it was bad. But you know, it's part of it. Listen, after they stabbed me, they baseball batted and they hit me with a car. They did everything. So you know, and then, you know, I got caught out there a couple of times where if it was a different guy, I'm lucky it was a more serious guy, because if you get caught with more serious guys, if you get caught by more serious guys, they finish it. You know? And so, you know, a couple of times I lucky. And then I had a crew of guys that were trying to kill me for years. And they were serious. They killed a lot of guys, and I went after their guys, and America's Most Wanted guys. And
Which crew was that?
Gene Eady crew. A couple of Vito and this kid, Frankie Fordello and Tabita. And these guys were wild. I mean, there's some wild kids out there. You know, so when I talk about some of these guys like Ronnie G, these guys ain't tough guys. Some of these other guys were tough kids. They were killers and the shooters, and young gun kids, the Antonucci brothers, and another kid, Kevin, that's doing life. He's, you know, they grew up with me, and you know, tough. Another kid, one of their guys, they killed him, Marty. These guys were out there shooting, killing. And whether you like them or not, they were tough guys. But some of these other guys, you know, you talk about, these guys ain't real. They're fakers. They
would actually live in it, though. They weren't talking about it.
Yeah, they live in a different era. If they lived in our era, when everybody's shooting and killing, you know, everybody's dead in my era. You know, so.
How wild was DeMayo's crew, and what did they get up to?
Yeah, well, DeMayo's crew, if you crossed them the wrong way, you know you were going. If they pitted you, and Gotti knew that. Gotti didn't go nowhere near him. Gotti knew that if he wanted to kill, he was finished. So, you know, he was a serious killer. All his girls, centers and testers, his whole crew of guys were serious fucking guys. And that's what you're talking about, real killers, not the bullshit that you got some of these young kids now that talk all that garbage.
So they were running a slaughterhouse, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you ain't, listen, if they were tagging you as the number, you're going. Yeah.
You said you ripped off some Colombians. Were they weak Colombians? They
They tried to hit me. They tried to hit me after that. They came looking, laying on me at a bar, and someone caught the move, and they called me. And I was walking up past my house, and they opened fire, machine gunned on me, and then I went back after them. But they didn't know where I lived. They just knew the car. And somebody told them the car was, actually, they almost hit my brother by accident. Because they went there, and they said to him, "Are you Johnny?" And he looked like me. And he went out to them, and he was like, "Nah, I ain't Johnny. Do you know who he is?" He says, "No." And he's like, "All right." And he went back to the bar. And somebody else told me they went, and I said, "Oh, they know the car." Because when we did the move, I went through somebody and I parked the car a couple blocks, but I didn't think they knew the car. I had a brown Caddy at the time. And then I parked it around the corner from my house, and they laid on the car. So I went towards the car, but I knew they were looking for me. So I kind of set it up that way.
So that's why you didn't park outside your house?
I got rid of the car after that. And,
yeah.
You know, after a while, they came around, and I just laid low for a little bit. And I tried to clock them. They moved from where I made, you know, when I did the heist. And I did it with counterfeit money. Besides, I mixed it in. Gotti was involved with that. But after that, that was, it slowly went away, and they never came back. They moved off. I used to do business with some serious Colombia guys, a kid Henry. They killed his father. He was involved. And when I went on a run, I had some friends later on, cartel guys, that helped me move from country to country. So I had some hooks outside the country. I wasn't a typical guy. I moved around a lot out of country.
Do you have nightmares about any of this stuff?
I don't sleep good. I don't really have nightmares, but I don't sleep well at all.
PTSD, anything like that?
Yeah, I got PTSD. I was diagnosed with it. Somebody made a joke about it, and I'm like, all right, you know, you want to fucking joke around about it, you know, then you don't understand it. Guys that were in the army, they understand it. Guys that seen a lot of killing in action in different way, you know, whatever they did for a living, they understand it. So some idiot made a comment about it, and so if they don't understand the reality, I mean, listen, I don't give a shit what anybody says anyway. But
I sometimes wake up, I go right up like that, and I'm sweating and hot sweating. I can't get my breath. It's like almost like I'm panicking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get a lot of lightheadedness and stuff where you don't want to move. And people say, "Well, you seem pretty normal." I mean, listen, it's relative to your existence, right? You can be normal, but there's times like if you ask me to sit here and talk to you tomorrow, maybe I'll say I can't do it. You know, so it's just
Depends
it's
what
part
mood
of
you're in.
life. Yeah, it's, you know, I deal with it like anything else.